Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Philip Radukic. I'm a product manager and senior consultant here at CA Experts, and as such responsible for the UPV web services, browser-based viewing, and associated technologies. Today, we are continuing our webinar series, concentrating on various real-life use cases. These use cases will show some examples on how the UPV ecosystem can be implemented to make processes run more smoothly, how to save time and effort, and utilize the various features of UPV. Today's part 8 of the series will be covering a topic relevant to also basically any existing asset. So for owners and operators, for engineering partners, contractors, and that's safety, health, and environment, or SHE, HES, HSE, depending on your corporate usage of the shortenings. So as always, this session will be recorded, and we will provide you the link to the recording subsequently by email. At any time during the webinar, feel free to use the questions panel and state your questions, and I will try to answer as many as possible after the live demo. Well, then let's start right away. The agenda for today. So we're going to have a look at the challenges and use cases with and for safety, health, and environment. The live demo will cover visualization of safety measures, visualization of, for example, fire protection coverage, visualization of hazards and hazardous zones, and a preview of upcoming feature with the next major release of UPV. So, safety, health, and environment holds an enormous range of topics, and obviously we won't be able to cover all of them today, but as you've seen from the list previously, I've picked a few of them that we will discuss today. And every company has its own way of approaching HSE topics, but mostly they're facing the same challenges either way. For example, where are additional safety measures required? Is it safe enough to work on a specific spot at a specific time? Where are the escapeways or other safety installations like emergency showers, eye washers, and stuff like that? Can it perform certain tasks during the during other works are actually being conducted in parallel, or is this leading to potential health, environmental, or safety risks? So this and these and more challenges is what we're actually going to look at today. So what are the challenges? Many times when it comes to safety, finding documentation. So the risk is documentation might be outdated or hard to find if you need to get it from several places. And that also goes for, let's say, onboarding, training, preparations of regular maintenance, turnarounds, but also day-to-day operations. Adding the zones. So usually, in most cases, high-priced authoring software is required to define zones to have it in a viewer. And you're not that flexible, not being able to really change these zones as necessary on the fly. Tracking and simulating hazards is very difficult, and there's actually very few options on the market to combine any type of time scheduling with some safety requirements. And many times it's not really obvious that a dangerous situation is rising because we just don't see all things overlapping. And one of the final challenges, making the data available. So not only in flyers and leaflets for safety instructions, but basically have it on demand all the time, and changes and updates could be distributed too slowly or be delayed, risking working with outdated information and adding to the risk assessment here. So what is our solution? You can use UPV sketching for different scenarios. For example, save on time and effort to visualize different safety options. You can visualize hazardous zones for safety training. This reduces risks, and you can train employees better and faster to comply with safety, health, and environment regulations. Visualize potential risks easily. So avoid risks before they surface. This can be, let's say, a crane lifting heavy weights, needing some secured areas, or for example, I will show a use case for that, actual example for this use case, where different works have been planned according to schedule, but just in the visualization, we can realize this wouldn't work this way for safety reasons. And last but not least, make all this information available to a maximum number of stakeholders by using the workflow system to publish these details. The effect, shorten the update process to minimum and have up-to-date information available to the whole team all the time. So this being said, let's actually look at the live demo here. So how can we actually visualize safety measures? Well, there's actually a few things we could do here. Let me pick a sketch and, for example, create some type of escapeway here. Let me colorize that one green, transparent. Scale it to the necessary size. And I can save away this file. I can also copy objects, align them to each other, move them around. So if you're wondering where this escapeway is leading, this one's leading nowhere because we're going to shorten it and to make actually a perpendicular escapeway going this direction here. So we can save and wait these files, we can share them. About collaborating, we'll come back to that later with a centralized database server. But basically, we've already done a first step to actually visualize a safety measure, and that's in case of emergency where people actually have to go. What else can we do? We can, for example, add additional information for safety showers, for example, and plan where we actually have to place them or where we should place them to ensure that safety is basically covered here. For example, place it somewhere near or above the escapeway. So some additional points where we can visualize safety measures and work with it. Why is this important? Well, in many cases in the planning phase, or during turnarounds, or if something's changed in the plant, these safety measures are one of the last things you kind of get to think about. And this is a good, easy way to basically reserve spaces and make sure that all safety requirements are fulfilled here. So what else can we do with sketching? Like I marked these escapeways here. I don't like it hanging over. Good, this looks better. We can also define some additional zones. But for that, I would actually take a different model where we can also show you some other details here. I could, for example, define this area as a H2S zone, so meaning you need certain gas warners and emergency masks on demand just in case there is any leakage. So basically, you can walk in there and move safely in this part of the plant, in this zone. And yet, you can also put on some requirements, for example, going into the attributes and typing in this is an H2S zone 01 and not typing safety measures gas warner emergency mask gloves whatever. So basically we can not only define zones but also add some attributes what is actually required while moving and working in this zone. But as I marked this one yellow here, this could also be an X zone. So again, I could just copy this object, move it over, align it, turn it red, and the name here would be X zone 02. Here the requirements are LET for low explosion threshold, warner, no electrical, no open fire, for example. And again, I can save this within the same file and make sure that whenever we enter this zone, and we can easily visualize it. So the red zones are X zones, the yellow zones are H2S zones to be prepared before entering and while working these areas. But what else can we do? And you can see that I've placed an object back here. This is actually supposed to show us the range of the fire extinguishing system. Actually, I don't know the proper term. I think it's German would say it's a water lens. So either way, our water cannons, let's call them that way, and they do have a certain reach. So when planning to place those, we might want to check which reach we actually need here. Again, for this, I can click on the object, on this dome, and define, for example, symbol attributes, saying, okay, the horizontal range, which is actually here, the diameter would be 40 meters. sake of the blank, and upwards it would be 18 meters. So this way, okay, we're barely covering it. So we can also try and place some additional objects here, just for the sake of it, to cover the other water cannons or water. What are they actually called? Align it with these fire extinguishing towers. And you can see that I'm basically creating a whole safety plan in really no time, because I can really work graphically here and already get a good overview on what this looks like. So let's now say, okay, our vertically we can only shoot 15 meters. This will already lower our range here, and possibly not covering all tanks. So you see for the other 3 tanks we have the same arrangement. So in this case, we would know that we will need equipment that will, for example, shoot 45 meters to make sure that we're really reaching every corner, and in case of an emergency, that we can react accordingly. Great. So yet another use case how to use UPV easily to visualize things. Now, what I mentioned earlier, we do have the problem sometimes that we're just planning some works, for example, in our time scheduling software, basically forgetting that this might not really work out the way we expected. So for this, I've prepared a small example. If you concentrate on this rack, I've opened our planning visualization here and clicking on this flag here where it says welding start. So I don't know if you can read this, but it says welding start. And in this case, the welding is being conducted here in this yellow box. At a certain point in time, a bit later, it says insulation start. So at this point in time, we would actually start some insulation works down here. So in the scheduler, this actually looks all right. Yes, we see that the times are overlapping for these 2 tasks. But what we don't see in our Gantt diagrams, be it Primavera or MS Project, is that these 2 zones are directly one above the other. So while any type of welding is done up here, we just cannot do any insulation work here. And due to the visualization, UPV contributes to actually recognize this risk and make sure that this is replanned before any issues arise. So that's, I mean, there will probably be thousands of examples I could still show you. Also, like I mentioned before, have our animation with the crane that many of you probably have seen already. Here, I could add boxes here, for example, to make sure that in this heavy lifting area, the spaces are reserved and nobody is doing anything else in here. So I'll take red again for dangerous zone and making sure that wherever the crane lifts the weight over is basically defined as a safety zone, creating a reserved area with only restricted access. So no parts that drop off or whatever could do anyone any harm. What you see here is a preview of a very, very early beta of our new UPV version that will be coming soon. And this one integrates a few very interesting features here. For example, our app controls, which allow us to do some type of customized programming and adding a whole range of features to UPV. So in this case, you probably can't see it because it's too small. Let me pull it to position. In this case, we have actually defined according hazardous zones, or generally according zones, and color-coded them. Having an option to visualize these easily and also create them easily. For example, I could place, let's see where we're going to do this. Let's say somewhere in this area, I want to place a safety shower. So I can say, okay, this was going to be SAS 001 for safety shower, and it's obviously safety shower. Description is to be erected. I can save changes, go back, and I created a new zone in this area. Where is this the zone? Well, easily, I just check mark it and visualize it, and it's showing me where the safety shower is going to be placed. And this works also with some other details I prepared here. For example, for the X zone and the H2S zones here. Let me actually visualize everything except the escape ways. And you see, it automatically places my boxes here, including the blue one I created, also with a color-coded legend, giving us the information we need. And while I turn off individual ones of them, they're basically disappearing again. So this way, we can even more easily define zones and visualize them all over a plant. So let's actually get over to our Q&A. Just give me a second to have a look at your questions here. I wonder if there's ever going to be a webinar when this question is not going to be stated. What licenses are required for this? Basically, all you do require is the UPV sketching license for the visualization of the objects the way I showed you. And for this, nothing else would be required. Oh, okay. Didn't you want to show us the workflow system? Oh, right. So with the workflow system, for those of you who have seen my previous webinars, they probably already see that, but let me actually go to a demo site and show you basically in our demo plant workflows. I could add a workflow for full demo plant and saying this is safety zones assigned to me. Workflow type would be, oh well, work order in this case. Stakeholders would be webinars, and let's actually save this, show the 3D model, and all I did with the sketching in UPV, I showed you all these functionalities are also available in the workflow system. So let me actually just draw a quick escapeway here. And yeah, obviously very safe putting it through the piping, but this I can now use say save to share it with the whole team, and the team can access exactly what I created here from anywhere without having to send around any objects. And yes, this would require an additional license, and that's for the UPV web service that advanced, including browser-based viewing in the workflow system, unless you're on the new concurrent user licensing where all of this is already included. Thanks for your time, for your attention, and looking forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.